How far can you drive them until they run out of battery? Battery power too low? Come on, no! No! Also, if you do run out of battery, what happens? Do they suddenly stop working and you lose things like power steering?
The car won't move because the motors are actually just locked.
We're going to drive these cars from this service station, which is on the outskirts of London, up north, and see how far they'll go before they conk out. Wish me luck. Before we start this test, I just want to point something out. We have charged these cars to full overnight, and then we've left them overnight, and they have depleted some of the battery level, not much, but they all do have over 95% of charge. So that's still good enough. Right guys, let's head off. Now to make sure this test is fair, we're going to try and drive in a very similar way. The cars are set into their most energy efficient setting. Also, we have the temperature set to 20 degrees. We have our phones connected to the stereos like you would have in your own car. We're going to try and do it as scientifically as possible. There will be a few variables. One thing I should point out though is that the temperature is saying 7 degrees. Now electric cars don't really like cold temperatures. They work best between 15 and 25 degrees. However, in England, the average annual temperature is about 10 degrees. This is a fair test for people who are going to buy these cars and run them in England. Now, as part of this test, what I'm also going to do is drive each car for a certain section, around 40 miles, just so I can assess each car and give you a little review of them to tell you what they're like to drive. Now, as we head out onto the motorway, we're actually going to put the cars into cruise control, set it to the speed limit for whichever road we're driving on. They should automatically brake and accelerate and steer to keep themselves at a certain speed. So now's a good time for me to give you a quick rundown of what this Leaf is like to drive. This is the extended range version, which means a 62 kilowatt hour battery and a claimed range of 240 miles. It costs £36,000, which seems like quite a lot for a Nissan hatchback, but it has a 217 horsepower electric motor, which is good for 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds. And this makes it feel pretty nippy in town, though its suspension can feel a bit bouncy over bumps. It does smooth out on the motorway though, and overall this Nissan is actually okay to do long distances in. I've jumped out of the Leaf. I'm now in the Jaguar I-Pace. It kicks off at £61,000. So you've got a 90 kilowatt hour battery pack on this thing, which means it can do a range of around 290 miles. You've got two electric motors, and combined you've got 400 horsepower. 0 to 60 is 4.8 seconds. That is quick. Also, the steering's sharp. It is a fun electric car to drive. You can trust me on that, guys. It is fun. Now, one thing that does annoy me slightly about this car is the infotainment system. I don't find it that easy to use while driving because there's very little icons that you have to press. But other than that, it's quite a nice car to travel in. According to the battery bar, I've got around 75% of charge left, which has given me a range of 151 miles. I've now jumped into the Mercedes EQC. This has two electric motors, four-wheel drive. Though, unlike all the other cars here that are four-wheel drive, it can run in front-wheel drive mode, rear-wheel drive mode, or four-wheel drive mode, whichever it thinks is the best way to maximise economy. Now, in terms of the performance, this car has 408 horsepower in total, 0 to 60, 5.1 seconds. It's also got an 80 kilowatt hour battery. Now, according to Merck, this car should be able to do 259 miles. We're not quite doing that, I don't think. I've got 48% of battery remaining, and we've got range of 101 miles remaining, and we've done 96 miles. In terms of comfort, it's the most comfortable car I've been in so far, and it's really quiet. The suspension's brilliant. I like the interior as well. And this is easily the best infotainment system of the cars I've been in so far. If you want one of these EQCs, they're not cheap though. They start from £62,000. I thought I'd let you guys know that we have brought along our Jeep Wrangler long-termer as a support vehicle, and in it is this diesel generator, because if we run out of electricity we may need a top-up, and this is basically the EV's version of a jerry can. Now, I kid you not, breakdown firms now have to carry these things to help recover stricken electric vehicles. Hopefully though, we're not going to need it because it's blooming heavy to try and move out the back of here.